Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. What's good? We live, man. Came in here to talk about Anthony Yarde versus Artur Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? That was a pretty good fight. Pretty decent fight. Um, yeah, man. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see. Um, yeah, man. So, I don't know, man. I like that fight. I think Anthony Yarde came out a little bit too jittery. Like he was anticipating the anticipating Better Beef being super strong. I mean, and as far as Franco was good. Let me see. Yo, what up? You know what I mean? What's going on? Um, yeah, man. I just think that Anthony Yard came out too. But well, first of all, y'all know who I am, man. It's your boy Truth. That's Show for Truth Over Narrative. We on A-Side Boxing Talk. Right now, we just doing a little bit of Anthony Yard, Artur Beterbiev wrap up. I put the link in the description. So if you want to come on live and we could talk about this fight, anybody that's on here and want to come live and talk about this Anthony Yard, Artur Beterbiev, uh, y'all more than welcome to do so. So let me see. My man Franco says, bro, we know why Andre Ward retired. He would have been knocked out by Beterbiev and outboxed by Bivol. Possibly. Again, I know Andre Ward had an injury. So I ain't gonna do that to Andre Ward, even though I disagree with a lot of things that Andre Ward says. Mostly every time he opened up his mouth and talk boxing. I ain't gonna do Andre Ward like that, man. So, but yeah, man, I think Beterbiev, he came out. I mean, excuse me, no, Anthony Yarde, he just came out too jittery. You know what I mean? Those was close rounds, and what really surprised me is that what's a couple things that surprised me about the fight? A couple things, but I'm just trying to think from my recent memory of opponents that Artur Beterbiev has faced. I'm not sure that my man Cal in the building was going on. My boy Cal, was good, my boy.
Brody, what it do?
Was good.
Chilling, man.
Same, man. How you feel about it, man? I know we was talking on the phone a little earlier. How you feel about that Anthony Yard Better Beef, man?
Oh man, okay. So performance wise, I got
Yeah.
to take my hat off to both boxers.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a good scrap for sure. Of course, with Better Bev getting the better end of the stick. With the knockout, of course, the way that you predicted it, a knockout behind the head. Yeah, bro. But I did see that. Now that you say that, man,
Yeah.
I definitely peeped that, bro. He definitely looked for that behind the head shot, or like Cam might be saying behind the ear. But
I mean, it's when you can aim for again, just like he said. And I don't know if it's local to that region. I'm starting to look at a lot more fighters, but even Golovkin got this like corkscrew. Like sometimes, and I'm not saying it's always like behind the head, but even Triple G got like this corkscrew hook that he throw, and sometimes like the shit will land right on the top of your head. Like I didn't see him drop a couple guys with that, so I don't know if it's just relative to that region. You know what I'm saying? That Eastern European region. You know what I mean? Because even they boxing style is different as well. But again, I knew, I was trying to manifest the Yard win. You know what I mean? But I knew Better B was gonna get the dub. You know what I'm saying? But even still, beyond Better B getting the dub, I think that was a real good fight, man. I mean, it's only January. I think that was fight of the year. I guess you could say so far. You know what I mean?
yeah, like grit, what it do, man. But yeah, man. I actually I preferred to see the fight go a couple more rounds, man, just because I was enjoying the scrap, man. But somebody mentioned earlier when we was talking in the space or whatnot that it'll probably be a different Yard if he get an American trainer, and I can't do nothing but agree with that. How you feel about that?
No, that was me that said that. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, like a guy, I mean, any one of these guys, a guy like Derek James, or a guy like Manny Robles, or a guy like Robert Garcia, probably. I mean, it's a lot of them, and that was a war. You know what I'm saying? And you got a guy in your corner that's really a cheerleader in Tunde, that's not really giving the correct instructions, but you got a guy in Anthony Yarde, and when you watch him, you just see nothing but talent. You know what I'm saying? He got to get on a different schedule. Obviously, he's going to drop down in the WBO rankings. I don't think he'll pop all the way out of the WBO rankings, but now I think with him and Frank Warren, I'm not sure what his contract looked like. I'm not sure what he got going on. But right now, at this moment, I would love to see Anthony Yarde on DAZN. I would love to still see Anthony Yarde versus guys like Joshua Buatsi, guys like Callum Smith, guys like Craig Richards.
I see my man Danny say he want to see Yarde with Zerto. How you think about that one?
I think that's a good fight. I think that's a real good fight. I think that's a real good fight. You know what I'm saying? But again, Yarde was one of those guys that he ain't had a real long amateur career, so they treated his pro career as a somewhat amateur career in the talent that he's faced. Like, he's literally learning something from every fight. You know what I mean? So, but that was a war. I mean, on two, like I said, when they stopped it, on two of the judges' scorecards, Yarde was up. He was up on two of the scorecards, and I think Beterbiev had him by a point on the other one. You know what I mean? So
that was my scorecard, man. I had him by a point.
Yeah. So you had Beterbiev up by a point, or you had
Beterbiev.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think that was a good fight, man. What surprised me is, again, I can't even remember somebody going toe to toe with Beterbiev like that. You know what I mean? He hurt Beterbiev, like we heard Cliff Rose say. He hurt Beterbiev like 7-8 times in that fight. He hurt Beterbiev a lot. You know what I'm saying? And if Anthony Yarde had another gear that he could push to, we would have. I mean, I think he could have got it done. But again, that's like saying if Julio Cesar Chavez was a jabber, you know, he would, like, some guys just have a certain fighting style. Right. You know what I mean?
He just got that weakness.
Yeah. But I don't even want to say weakness. Like, Anthony Yarde has 23 wins and 22 come by the way of knockout. You get what I'm saying? So most of the knockouts coming in 7th round or earlier. So yeah, you could say it go 12. But when you got power and you not going these rounds, it's just gonna happen like that.
Right.
I mean, everybody knew somebody was gonna get knocked out. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like,
but how you feel about y'all's punch resistance? Rugo, what it do, man?
His punch resistance, I think it was okay. I mean, you fighting Beterbiev, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude is like probably one of the hardest. I mean, if you remove the heavyweight division, he probably is the hardest puncher in the sport of boxing. Between pound for pound, between him and Inoue, I say, like, probably the hardest punch. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I want to say he will be behind Inoue, because Inoue be knocking guys out with like one punch. I don't think Beterbiev is like this. He's like a thudding. He going combination, get you up out of there. You know, anyway, sparking shit, Wilder sparking shit. You know what I mean? I think he held up well. I mean, again, he didn't go down until, you know, remember the first one was a flush right down the middle. That's what wobbled him. But then when Beterbiev hit him with the overhand, and then he went down. When he went down, he looked. See, what we don't know is, the question is if he really got dog in him.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Now, again, if he fighting a guy that punch, let's say he fighting a guy that punch a little bit less hard than Beterbiev, can he still go 12 with that guy? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if that guy coming forward, is he, because it looked like he, or at least his trainer quit. I think his trainer quit before him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, yeah, but okay, I saw what somebody say when he hit the ground. He gave his trainer a look like as if, you know, like, I'm hurt. Like, stop it, I'm hurt. You know what
that's why I say, when he got up, he said something to him. I don't know what he said, but he got up.
Then I saw shout out to my man Sibby Boxing. I saw him say when the ref tell you to come forward and you do anything besides come forward, if you take a step back first or anything, you know, the ref's supposed to stop the fight. How you feel about that? I
mean, I think that's true, but I mean, they in England. It's a Frank Warren card. He a Frank Warren fighter. That's not going to happen. I mean, and at the same time, too, like, maybe that's the rules, but I've seen plenty of times where the referee will let you get up. He'll tell you, come here, walk to me. He'll rub your gloves on his chest. He'll tell you, step to this side. He'll tell you, step to this side. He'll ask if you can see me, and then let him go back and fight too. So that's not nothing egregious that I would say like, oh my God, like I never seen, you know what I mean? He said, no, he was looking at his corner like he wanted to quit. No, for real, he was. Like, again, that's why I made the point, Gritty, about him having dog. He might not have the dog, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he might.
No. Go ahead, finish.
He might not have that dog in him. Like, again, he fought tough while he had the energy. But once he got the knockdown, he probably, but again, like I said, man, them shots behind the head. Listen, bro, I done been in the gym with headgear on, Kyle, and the motherfucker hit me in the back of the head, bro. I still almost dropped. I had everything. Here, I was fine, bro. Like here, I'm good. Yeah. You get I go to move off, or I try to like pivot off and take a step back in my leg. I said, oh shit, my leg. You feel me? Like, but my mind, everything there, bro. Like everything really here. But that shit behind the head is some different shit, bro. That's why, that's why I always like. You ever notice like that's kind of one of the things like I'll really be going hard about, like that punching motherfuckers behind the head shit, bro. Because once you get hit behind the head, but it's different. That shit is different.
I feel you, man. It's something you done experience, so you could really speak from that point.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that was to me though, Beterbiev looked like he was 38 though.
You definitely could see the age, man. And Bivol, if he want that fight, man, it's probably gonna be the best time to take it.
Yeah, but I think Bivol beat, because even in them later rounds, like I want to say round 6, 7, and 8, man, but Beterbiev was doing a lot of moving. He was circling the ring. He was doing a lot. Now, granted, I don't think Bivol punched that hard either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Bivol might not hurt Beterbiev like 8 times. You know what I'm saying? So, again, that's a different fight, because if Bivol jabbing and hooking and Beterbiev doing this and walking forward, that's a different fight.
He a boxer, man. He do enough at what he do. I mean, whether he bringing the elusive power or whatever it is, may be that other boxers bringing that he probably lacking with. I just think he do enough as a boxer, bro. He almost give me textbook boxer. I say like Devin Haney minus the grabbing.
Yeah, minus the clinching and shit.
That's what I get from Bivol, and I like it, man. I like that style against a lot of different fighters, bro. That style take you kind of far, bro.
Yeah, I think they're gonna warm him up, because he just in my opinion, we just saw him in an 8-round war with Anthony Yarde. Now he got to come out this Anthony Yarde fight. His next fight got to look now, mind you, and this guy get injured a lot too, but he got to fight Callum Smith next. So now his next fight is going to be in the same country in England on the zone against Callum Smith, who coming into that fight now. And it's the thing too, like remember after Mikey Garcia, right? Even though Earl outclassed him, now all of a sudden, like everybody sees something. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I see something. Like, you feel me? If you a 175er, like a guy like Callum Smith, who like completely one punch knocked out his last 2-3 opponents, you see something in Artur Beterbiev. And now I'm on the phone with Eddie Hearn, like, bro, get me that fight now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need that fight ASAP. I think if with this war that he just went, pending the Callum Smith fight, I think he gonna be ripe enough for Bivol to pick him right off. I just think like he gonna be ripe. He gonna be ripe for Bivol to pick him up. You know what I mean? Bivol is who he is. I mean, again, I didn't even expect Bivol to come out there and do Zerto like that. Walk Zerto down the whole night, throw nothing but punch. You feel me? Like he got busy with it. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
So I just think Beterbiev, man, that shit ain't going. And then by the time he fight a Bivol, he's gonna be 39. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be pushing 40 by the time he get that.
How old is Bivol right now?
Bivol, I think he like 32.
Okay,
I could box right there real quick. Let me see.
But I saw that after the fight that Beterbiev was saying that, you know, y'all still young, you know, way younger than he is, and you know he was like, man, he can punch or whatnot, like let's see what happened with him or whatnot. But I see Rugo say Marcus Brown. How you see that one going?
I think he gonna knock Marcus Brown out.
Yeah, he'll flush Marcus.
Yeah, man, Marcus Brown a boxer. He a boxer. And then with the thing about Anthony Yarde that that people and I think he could get some more credit for that tonight. Anthony Yarde got some slickness to him, right? And I don't think that. See, it's like sometimes we might be looking at certain things, and then you looking at everything from one fight, and you trying to translate it to the next, but we can't do that because Marcus Brown ain't punching like Beterbiev.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I don't even think Anthony Yarde come out super jittery, super like, you know what I mean? He was doing a lot of movement in them first 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He ain't gonna come out like that. So as where we thought that gas tank might have been starting to give up in the 5th, 6th, and 7th, what if that gas tank don't start getting heavy to the 8th, 9th, 10th? I don't think Marcus Brown could deal with that either. Again, we just seen a guy go toe-to-toe with Beterbiev for real. Like, you know what I mean? Like he stood there with bro. He had Beterbiev moving around the ring. You know what I mean? He was hurting better. He was wobbling. Beterbiev was holding at points in that fight. You know what I mean? Now, granted, it's a fight. It's going to happen. But again, I just think with Anthony Yarde power, I mean, and I could be overrating him because I'm a fan of Anthony Yarde as well. But I think that like bro got power. Like he got serious power. Like we just seen that he got serious power. And I think a guy like Marcus Brown, he one of them New York guys who was like a star coming out of the amateurs, but I don't think he could do it. Maybe I would like the Buatsi fight better than I would like the because Buatsi got power as well. And Buatsi gonna fight. I would like the Buatsi Yarde fight more than my man what's this guy named Marcus Brown.
Buatsi, man. Who was Buatsi last fight?
Buatsi last fought Craig Richards in UK. He won the decision against Craig Richards. But see, Buatsi do something I like. You know, Buatsi, he trained with Virgil Hunter. And so he from the UK. But when it's not camp time, I mean, when it's not fight time, he don't be staying out there. He come to America to train. He come to America probably even before his 8-week camp. He in America damn 2-3 months before his fight start. Then he go into camp and he train in America and fly back over there and fight.
I saw him on somebody's card, man. I just can't.
Who, Buatsi?
Yeah. I remember who card that was. I saw him on.
Well, he had the zone guy, so it had to be a zone card.
It had to be a zone card, but
his last fight was Craig Richards, and he was the main event for that one, which was on the zone card. He fought before that. I think he fought this guy Richard Bolotniks, and that was in Eddie Hearn backyard. You know the thing that Eddie Hearn be doing in the summer when they do the little thing in his house in the backyard. Yeah. Before that, he fought a French guy, and it was in a bubble, and he almost killed Boy. Like, you know what I mean? He hit him with like an overhand right or some shit. Smoke Boy was done. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm looking at his box rec right now, trying to see if I can figure out which one it was. But I can't recall. But yeah, man. As far as they fight wrap up, hopefully we get that Beterbiev Bivol next. Instead of that Smith bullshit that we hearing about. And with Yarde, man, you know, hopefully they could get him. I mean, after that loss, do he get another highly rated name, or do we give him a shake back first before one of those names?
I think first of all, we got to look at his contract, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because, again, them Frank Warren fighters, when you notice it, like he throws some of the most one-sided cards imaginable. You know what I mean? Like his cards is nasty work. So I mean, I think you give Anthony Yarde. If Anthony Yarde could come back like was January, maybe come back like in the summer. You know what I mean? Get a little cool little touch. Somebody that could, you know what I mean, that'll give him some resistance. And then at the end of the year, he need to be right back in a fight, right back in the big fight. I just don't see nobody on his side of the street, which is Frank Warren's side, that's really going to do something for him. It either got to be DAZN or, I mean, one of them DAZN guys or another 175er. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man. So, what we got coming next, man? Who we got next? I know we got
Clive, what's going on, my boy?
What it do? What's it good, man? What's popping?
So you said next is the Alexis Rocha card.
Yeah, we got him. He fighting a guy, man. I'm not familiar with the dude who he's fighting. I did look though. I see he on a five knockout streak. And
Knockout. I think he's like a 35er though.
Yeah, let me go check him out again. Let me go back to him. But I mean, I'm not sure who on that undercard.
So actually, so what? Real quick before we all right, while we talking about Alexis Rocha, I posted a picture on Twitter today, and it looked like Bud. Well, Bud was in Golden Boy office today. You know what I'm saying? So, my shout out to my man Over J, my man Boxster Dom. I call him Boxster Dom. My boy L Dub. You know what I mean? My man Bug Williams. He made a great point about that, and I think that we might have a 2-fight deal on the table for Bud with Alexis Rocha first, challenging for that WBO strap, and then maybe later on in the year we'll see him against Virgil.
Right? Yeah. But I mean, I made a joke about that when I saw that picture. I was saying that I mean, to see Bud with anybody, whether it's gonna be some good counsel or some good advisory, I'll take that after you know what just happened last year and you know earlier this year, I guess around whenever they was going through it.
Yeah.
I like that though, man. I like that you know Rocha would be his comeback fight or whatnot, and then that Virgil fight, man, that's big. That's big. I mean, you know, I'm one of the ones who still I still want to see that fight. So, you know, I still try to lean away from all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, him and Virgil, man, it's just as good. It's only one step under.
Yeah. I just think it's kind of unrealistic to look at for that other fight. You talking about a guy, right, Kyle, that's already been telling us that he got problems making 147 pounds, right? Then that same guy is going to turn around in April or May. So you're still talking about 3 or 4 months down the road, 2 or 3 months down the road, and make 154. Then whatever bruises and bumps that he take from that fight, pending he does not get injured. Now we expecting that guy who just did an 8-week full training camp to make 154, to then go back in the training camp and make 147 again. So for me, I just feel like that's a recipe for disaster. I feel like even if he could get back down to 147 for the fight we talking about, I don't like it, because then now I'm looking at the situation like, okay, you playing with weight net. Like, I'm telling you, once these guys start, I think Bud working on a bigger fight than those two.
Man, check out Gritty, man. Gritty say Bud was going over Golden Boy books.
Hey, I like that. Hey, you know the meme when he be doing like this? Hell yeah, go over them books. You know what I'm saying? But go over them books. But you know what? Golden Boy should have some money, because I think Showtime gonna front the bill for this Ryan Garcia fight. So I don't know how that works, but if you got some money on the books, why not get Bud in there? But I'm curious, Tay. If you want to come up too, Tay. I'm curious. Tay said you feel like you think Bud working on a bigger fight than those two, and you said something to me earlier, Tay, when you said that. You got me curious. What you thinking about, Tay? You know what I mean? Let me know, bro, because you know what I mean.
What's popping?
Shout out to the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Karma Serene in the building.
They just saw Anthony Joshua at HTX.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, headed out. Say he came in Derrick Gym with that soft shit he be on, man. They sent him back to the UK.
Got him gone. Hey, Bass Reeves, my man Clay, was good, Brody.
What up, fellas? Just sitting here listening to y'all. Lazy today. I've been on the couch, picked up some weeds earlier and messed with the dogs. Now I'm just watching the Nets. The Knicks go at it. That was a good fight over across the pond, right? I enjoyed that.
I like that. What you think about? Well, first of all, tell me how you felt about Beterbiev performance.
Experience showed. Experience and just being the stronger man showed down the line, you know. I think that was a gutsy, proven effort by Yarde, right? That's probably the best he's ever looked, and I think that's the best he's ever going to fight. Some things bothered me with this corner. They didn't really make the adjustments that I wanted them to make. Like, for one, he wouldn't clinch when he was getting into trouble or felt that he was in trouble. And I don't know if I don't really worry about his stamina and whatnot, but he just stood right in front of the guy and got his ass beat on. I'm like, dude, move, like, hold something. Like, I don't know if
do you think that he hurt Beterbiev?
Yeah, I think he hurt him about 5-6 times, but he didn't come behind a jab. Let me finish real fast. I felt like he fought on all aggression. I wanted him to work smarter, not harder. But it was the moment, and it was his biggest fight again to date. But again, that's where the old man's experience came in. He knew how to be under duress, fight with poise, and fight hurt. And again, he was just the stronger man coming in, talking about Beterbiev. But I think Yarde could have fought smarter, and I thought he took too much damage, which led to the ultimate knockdown. Like, he just stood there. And then when Beterbiev kept literally turning him. I know what he was doing with the ropes. I didn't like that, but I was okay with it because I knew that's just how he was going to fight. He was trying to show some boxing skills, but and he was in that triangle, man. Hence why Eubank got knocked out last week, because he was in the triangle and know what the fuck to do. Same thing with Ant Yarde. He didn't know what to do in that triangle, man. If you would have just kept a jab to keep him on and off and come in with your offense and defense, maybe something else. But again, concluding, I thought the stronger man and the more experienced man won the fight.
Yeah.
So Beterbiev is the real deal. I keep expecting father time, but he the real deal, man.
Well, I think.
And let me say this too. I don't think I don't think Bivol gonna mess with that, man. I'm not saying he's scared or he ducking or anything like that. I just don't think he gonna try to fuck with that, man. This is why it's taken too long, man. It's been years. It's been this. It's been that, and all the excuses and talks, whether it's us or the handlers talking, it's just all shit to me. So I don't think he gonna mess with that.
Well, I think Beterbiev showed his age a little bit in this fight. I think he was hurt as well, but again, like you were saying, with the experience, when Anthony, I know it was like an uppercut, and Anthony Yarde like fucking spent Beterbiev head back, and as soon as his Beterbiev head bounced back forward, he start grabbing. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, man, it be the experience. You said that you don't think that Anthony Yarde gonna fight better than this. I think he can fight better than this. Again, I think sometimes when we looking at the
let me finish though. Let me say this though. I said at this point. No. You said something that, like, I don't think you heard what I said though. I said yes, this is the best he can fight, but I'm saying, like, with his
guy, bro. How you going? Fuck, man. I can't even talk with this guy, bro. You know what I'm saying? He gotta with Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde can fight better. Like I said, you can't put these fights in a microwave. You know what I'm saying? And look for the same guy. You with me, Cal?
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
I got you. You can't put these fights.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you good, bro. You can't put these fights in a microwave and then sit and say, oh, this guy's gonna look like the same against that guy. It don't work like that. So of course, with the hardest puncher, probably from 175 on down, is gonna look a certain type of way. But then you gotta say, okay, the next guy may not punch as hard. The next guy may not be as experienced. The next guy may not be as tough. You know what I'm saying? So then you gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that shit, but yeah, you good. Go ahead, cook, Clav. You can't. I can't let you talk and you cut me off, man.
No, you good. You good. I just felt you were saying something that I think you missed what I said.
Yeah,
but
saying
it's
I'll let you finish, and I'll let you finish. You know what I mean?
Excuse me then. No, man. Just your corner has to be better overall. I felt his corner was not better, and that's why. But they did the right thing. They stopped the fight. Yeah, they've seen too much damage. That was
talk to me about that. So Cal, I'm gonna get to both of y'all. Cal, do you think that was a good stoppage by the corner?
Every time I think of stoppage is a premature stoppage, I always think about what they may have seen that made them stop it. Because us as fans, of course, we want to see the fight continue. But I always, my second thought is always, okay, what exactly did they see that made them stop it. So again, once I go with my second thought is always, you know, I kind of always like to say I can't really believe in a premature stoppage. I mean, just looking at it in the midst of the fight, you know, with everything that's going on and you wanting to continue to see the scrap, yeah. But afterwards, when I look at it, I mean, I kind of almost got to say that I don't believe in a premature stoppage by a corner.
For sure. What you think about that corner stoppage, Cleve?
It's good stuff. He was like I said, he stood there and got his ass beat on. It could have been worse. Gutsy effort. I love the stoppage.
Do you think that how much better do you watch Beterbiev often? And if you do, what you think about that overhand right that he got? Because I feel like that overhand right that Beterbiev got always found the back of his opponent's head. You know what I'm saying? What you think about that? Am I over exaggerating?
Nah. I think that's his best punch, and I think that showed with his experience. As long as he could get in 4 or 5 of those, you know, good punches. And what you really got to worry about is that he kept, I'm not saying intentionally, but he hit that guy behind the head a lot. He does that a lot in a lot of fights, but that's because he carries a lot of power, and it's just the moment of the intensity right there. But as long as he got 4 and 5 of those, he was good because Anthony was moving on him. He was more quicker on his footwork. And that's old boy coming down from heavyweight, you know? So that's why he's got that wide stance, like he's about to do the splits or something. So yeah.
So when do it go from like punch? When do it go from like, oh, that was a mistake behind the head to like targeting? Like I'm for sure trying to put this punch behind your head. Like, because even early in the fight, he wasn't doing that. Like he didn't even throw that punch early in the fight. But
that was exactly. Go ahead, Cal. No, I was gonna say, I was waiting on him to finish talking to ask that question. In a sense, it was a little different than how you was gonna ask it, but it's pretty much the same thing. But what I was gonna say was, how much is the person on the receiving side of that blow in fault? Because if he throwing a punch in a consistent way, the way he throwing it, then you almost got to be putting your head down in a certain sense to where you're getting hit with it. So where is the line drawn? Like you said, where is the line drawn? Like, is it because of how the person is lining themselves up in order to receive that shot? Or is it because of or is it, you know, like, why isn't the ref saying something? Like, what is the ref saying while that shot is going on that's stopping the ref from even saying something about that shot?
I would say, I mean, you guys know when it's an intentional shot. And again, I didn't say he was doing it intentional, talking about Beterbiev, but I think that's just how heavy his hands are, just for him, speaking on him specifically. But I mean, I think we all know when there's something intentional, and I think we all know when we see bad tactics in there, stuff that's not legal, and you know, the ref's a part of that too. He's got to be able to recognize that. But,
I mean, but you don't think like so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I think it's intentional. I'm saying when you look at the Joe Smith fight, he's punching Joe Smith in the back of it. Like you can't even look at the highlights of that fight and say there's no, like, the highlights in the fight is Beterbiev punching Joe Smith behind the head. Even in his Yarde fight, he was doing all of these punching. He was, you know, hitting him with uppercuts, going to the body, doing his thing. But when he at the Beterbiev start getting hurt, for all of a sudden that overhand behind the head start coming out of the woodwork.
I think it's based on based on the site. Like it depends on the person who's well, not the person. When Beterbiev throws that punch, if he has a clear visual of the back of somebody's head, in a sense, to me, then I think that's where it becomes intentional. Now, do I think that he's throwing it kind of dirty? Yeah. Because like you say, like you pointed out, that wasn't going on until it looked like he was starting to get in trouble, or until it looked like he was ready to close that motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like that's his finisher. Like if this was wrestling, that's his finishing move.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I could see why the ref isn't getting in between it, because a motherfucker looking at him and his eyes while he throw that shit. So it's like he almost kind of timed the way you roll. So when you roll, he connecting that punch with the back of your head as you roll. I think he just did a good job at mastering the illusion of throwing that punch like he not doing it deliberately.
Yeah.
But he really is throwing that motherfucker.
I mean, when you in the gym, you practice, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like, you in the gym, you practice. I think that again, he might throw that punch well. And even I even alluded earlier to Golovkin. Like Golovkin got like this corkscrew overhand where he landed the punch literally is like it's landing on top of your head. You know what I mean? So if Golovkin could master like this odd type of punch, why do I think that Beterbiev can't master targeting the back of your head? You know what I mean? Even in the Joe Smith fight, some of that, like in that first one, I think that dropped Joe Smith wasn't leaned all the way over like this. It's a looping punch. So it's a looping punch. So what's gonna happen is either I'm gonna hit the back of your head or my glove gonna cuff you, or the glove will like cuff you, you know what I mean? And it'll look like a mistake, you know what I'm saying? But literally, like the first punch, you could see him punch Joe, like the shit hit back here. It's not like it's a borderline temple shot. These punches landing back here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just like the Boots Castillo Clayton punch. I don't know if you remember that joint. Like when Boots hit Castillo Clayton, but Castillo Clayton was all the way down here with it, and Boots just kind of turned over with the punch. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to call him dirty, man, but that shit is dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but man. It is what it is. It was a good fight though. Good fight. That was good work. That was some good work. Again, I think Anthony Yarde could come back and still do some things. I think Anthony Yarde 32, 33. And it ain't like these guys fighting 5-6 times a year. You know what I'm saying? So take some time off, good fight. You put your pain in and come back again. But Beterbiev in his next 2 or 3 fights, he's gonna take an L for sure. For sure Beterbiev is going to take an L within his next 2 or 3 fights.
Whether it's Bivol or who?
Bivol, or you're going to laugh, but Bivol or fucking Colin Smith. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And then I ain't even, but I just look at stuff for what it is. Like he an Eddie Hearn fighter. We done seen a lot of things happen in and around Eddie Hearn fighters. I wouldn't be surprised, bro. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Again, just like I'm saying, like nobody expected this fight to go 12, but I said it while we was on the chat. If that fight would have went 12, Beterbiev was going to lose that fight. There's no way he's leaving England with a 12-round fight. Is he not the champion leaving? For sure, he was going to lose, and it showed on the scorecards because
on the cards he was down
in the 8th round. He's down one judge, he down 2 points. One judge, he down 1 point. And on the other judge, probably get ready to start his shift too.
Let me ask you something.
Huh?
Did you agree with those scorecards?
I agree with the judge who had Beterbiev up because that was my exact card.
Yeah,
So you thought Yarde was up?
No. I had Beterbiev 4-3.
And you, Truth?
I had Yarde up around.
Okay.
I mean,
close round.
Let's look at the bright side here, man. Nobody had a score like Andre Ward.
How Andre Ward had it?
Andre Ward had a landslide for Yarde.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everyone had a different card though. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't score it. I just thought it was a close fight. I thought it was a really, really close fight.
One of them guys getting paid. What I was about to say, but I think, granted, it's just a long shot. I'm just chatting right now, but we need to go back to 2 judges and the referee scoring the fight. I think the guy in the middle, the guy that's closest to the fight, the guy that's breaking up the fight, the guy that's looking in these fighters' eyes needs to be a judge.
Right.
Needs to be a judge.
Who can see it better than him?
Even if we go back to the referee being the only judge.
Quick question though, Truth.
Huh?
Quick question though, Truth. What about the guy in the very middle? You know, like if you're watching the fight on the telly, there's one guy. Say if the fighter's in the middle of the ring, there's one guy right there directly in the middle looking at both of them. Isn't he a party judging, or is he not? He's like looking. Sure. He's always looking directly at the guys. Is he a doctor or is he a judge? I was wondering.
It could be a. I wasn't paying attention to this fight in particular, but usually that's the doctor job as well. The doctor is like glued to the fight and he's watching what's going on. Like, and I think the doctor get a bet. And sometimes, truthfully, the judges don't always have the best view. Let me tell you something, Cleb. I am a fucking Stephen Fulton. Like, I'm like that's like my favorite fighter for sure.
That's your favorite guy right now.
When I went to Minnesota, sitting in the third row. Like literally, I was in the third row on the floor watching the Roman fight. Watching that fight was a completely different fight from when I went and watched it on TV. And when I was watching that fight, that was a competitive, close, skin in the teeth fight. Me watching the fight, right? When I went back to the room, bro, it was a landslide. I think he won every fucking round. Like sometimes visually, and mind you, and the reason why I'm saying that is me, whatever, right? But you talking about a guy that's a fan of the fighter. Looking to, not saying I'm looking to get a guy to fight, but I'm a fan. I'm looking for my guy to win the fight. But my vision sitting in the third row, looking up in the ring, when he hit the corners, Roman might throw a punch, Fulton might block it with his arm, or might, you know what I mean, move a certain type of way. That punch not even effective, didn't even land. But to me, it's a landed punch. You get what I'm saying? So the judge don't always have the best viewpoint, or different viewpoints for all three judges. The system is flawed, but it's just the way it is. Nah, you're right though, Gritty. But I just think that I know back in the day, at some point, a long time ago, the referee used to be a part of the judging process as well, right? So we either need to get to the point where judges are being held accountable, maybe they pay being docked or having to explain themselves after the fight. You know, no, for real though. Like that's how you clean up the sport, bro. If you make 200,000 or however much a judge make per fight, right? You making 30,000, whatever you making per fight. If I tell you that I'm gonna take 50% of your pay for this bad decision, I think you're gonna be inclined to judge this fight. Not only am I gonna take 50% of your pay, you're gonna have to you have signed to get on TV and explain yourself round through round. And really, what needs to be happening is that them judges need to have some soundproof type of thing going. In between the round, they need to explain. So we really don't need you to talk to the fans. In between the round, you need to be explaining why this is 10-9 or why that's 10-9.
That's another thing I was gonna say too, man. How important is it with the judges being there and hearing that crowd when certain shots are thrown, or like do they have those slow-mo cams in front of the judges where judges could really look back?
Yes, they do. They do. They have every view, Kyle. They got every view.
Well, then if that's the case, man, that make it even worse for me, because if you able to slow that motherfucker down and look at some shit in real time, slow down real time, then I don't see how they be missing certain things, bro. It almost make me think like, what exactly do they be scoring when they be looking at some of these fights? Because, bro, I mean, for one judge to have it a 1 point differential and the other judge to have it another point differential, I understand. But it's kind of hard for me to see how anybody would have somebody being in total control of that fight.
Yeah. Nah, yeah, that was, yeah.
Because
like Andre Ward consistently has bad scorecards. Consistently. Like it's like you could bet that Andre Ward is gonna have a bad card for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I don't understand that.
But you know what's funny though about that, Truth? He doesn't, like, when he's talking, he doesn't talk like his scorecard. He just gives a bad scorecard at the end. Like to me, he says a lot of the right shit. Like, and I'll say this, like, I haven't scored a fight in a very, very long time, man. I'm just truthfully, especially like a big main event like this, like I just went into style matchup and then what I'm thinking and what I'm seeing. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm seeing. But back to Andre, damn, that was a sick dunk. He doesn't talk like that when he's like announcing. That's another thing. I haven't listened to like a live fight in a long time. Like 80% of fights always on mute. Yeah, because I'm just watching footwork, and then I'll come back. I'll gradually ease up to see who's getting their head knocked off, because that footwork's gonna tell me a lot.
I got to disagree with you on that, man, because I actually think that he have had some fights where he haven't been that bad, but I have heard some fights where he be saying some shit, and I'd be like, yo, what the fuck is he talking about? You know
earlier that night in that fight with the Ukrainian versus, it was a dude Jimenez versus what that dude named Demirizin or something like that. Okay. Like, you could tell from the beginning they wasn't looking like anything the Ukrainian guy was doing. They were just like, oh, he's not fighting. Like, bro, listen, he's running. Listen, man, turn the volume off and watch that fight. the dude that was the champ, Demirizin, he had put like the first 4 or 5 rounds in the bag, bro. And then the other guy started making it close. Now the other guy came strong down the stretch, but it still was competitive. You get what I'm saying? But they were just trying to, they robbery. No, that was not a robbery, man. That was nothing like a robbery. And they was screaming at. They wasn't even acknowledged. But again, they get to the point where if you paying attention or if you a casual watching a fight, you being influenced by what these guys is saying. And it gets to the point where they not even talking about nothing that this guy is doing right. They just talk about the other guy. You know what I mean? So now I'm swaying in your, if I'm with Cal, right? And I'm like, man, I hate Clev, man. Clev always doing this. Clev always doing that. Clev always doing this. I can't stand Clev, blah, 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 blah. If I'm riddling this information in Cal's ear constantly, right? As soon as you get around Clev, when you say the one thing that don't sound right, that shit I was saying to Cal is gonna start registering. And he gonna be like, this is shit Truth was talking about. Yeah, I don't like him either. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why you gotta watch these fights with that volume off, man, because that shit, yeah, they be wild.
Definitely be wilding, man. I don't know, man. I've learned how to tune them out as well as the crowd. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I mean, I like to hear it because sometimes, I like to hear it, but not for the sake of seeing what they talking about, just to see if they on the same page as I am.
Yeah.
I mean, if they not gonna really necessarily make me agree with them. But I do like to hear what they're talking about, honestly.
I'm going to shift gears real quick because I just want to put this bug out because I know a lot of people don't know. There is a fighter on Golden Boy who got a co-promotional deal with Golden Boy. Austin, with Floyd, Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield. Tonight, he is fighting a guy in Alberto Mercado, right? Now, Alberto Mercado, he hasn't, let me see, his last fight was actually December 18th, and he got a little knockout, but he's 17-4. He got 1 draw. Now, Floyd Schofield been fighting kind of those upside down fights, but this is his, I guess, initial step up. Now, this dude is 17-4, right? His 4 losses came to Jason Velez, Lamont Roach, Chris Colbert, and O'Shaquie Foster. Them the only guys that beat him, and none of them stopped him. None of them.
And that's who we fighting tonight.
That's who Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield, is fighting tonight. That's who they fighting tonight. So
that's the co-main?
I think it is the co-main. But keep your eye on that fight because I think and I was listening, I heard Boog say this the other day, and when I started kind of looking into both of these guys and seeing that this may be one of the fights where I think Floyd Schofield will win, but people will probably be like, oh man, he got exposed. Oh man, I'm not sure if he's ready for that next level because this guy's tested. Like, it's not no bump. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, Mercado is not like you know what I mean? He not a pushover. He ain't a guy that's coming to lay down. And again, he just fought like 2-3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying?
We gotta learn how to throw that Joan on the screen. Like when we looking at when we pulling stuff up.
Oh, the box rack?
Yeah, anything like when we how you can pull it up and have it on the screen, a little sidebar.
Yeah. Let me see something.
You gotta learn that, John, man. Pipe up.
What I really want, Cal, I need to figure out how to get that
because we do a lot of researching while we on here, bro.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to get that soundboard. If I get that soundboard, it's gonna get nasty up here.
Man, a lot of people be having the same thing that I see in the studio with the with the different, like where you say the sound into the little box and then you hit that box and then that play. Even your boy got it, man, who do all the who do the two-tone.
Yeah,
he got one of them.
Yeah, that's what I need, man. I need to figure out how to definitely
how to hook it up so that the sound comes straight through rather than going through the microphone or the laptop.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see.
Okay. You won't beat already.
Yeah. So this the guy I'm talking about right here. So if you look at Alberto Mercado, now he's 35. Now, mind you, his last fight was December 18th. So he's fresh. This not a guy coming off the couch or, you know what I mean? Well, granted, now before that it was O'Shaquie Foster. So it might be a little, you know what I mean? It might be a little rough for him in there early. But again, you see, he lost a unanimous decision to O'Shaquie Foster. He lost a unanimous decision to Chris Colbert. You know what I mean? I don't know who this guy is, Sergio, whatever, but you know what I mean? He won that fight. So basically, if you're not a top tier guy, so even like this guy in 2018, Miguel Angel Moreno, he might have been a prospect on the come up or something like that, and he beat him. You know what I'm saying? Jose Nieves, right? 22-3, he beat him. You know what I mean? So it ain't like, look, 19-1, Braulio Rodriguez, he beat him. You know what I'm saying? So again, he took a loss to Jason Velez, took a loss to Lamont Roach, took a loss to Chris Colbert, took a loss to O'Shaquie Foster. But this is one of those fights. Now you go to Floyd Schofield, right? Now look at this. Look at his record. I seen this fight. That guy, I don't know, that 22-5. I don't know who that guy was, but that ain't the same guy that was in the ring against Floyd Schofield. Now his resume, it looked a little good, but these guys, this is going to be clearly the toughest fight of Floyd Schofield career tonight again. So I think that's one. And if you, matter of fact, I don't even know if you could. Let me see something. See, I just want to see if I could go on DraftKings or we could see the little odds or whatever like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see Sportsbook. I just want to see if it's gonna let me open it up.
So you think we might be running into a nice little underdog payout?
Yeah. Or Floyd Schofield by decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think Floyd Schofield by decision was a nice little bag right there too.
You guys gamble most cards?
I did. I gambled today. And what's the brother, the Ayatuna? He blew the card. He blew my ticket, man.
Sorry to hear that.
Bro, he the prospect guy, but he got knocked out, but he definitely blew my ticket.
I sit back and wait until you know the casual line makers make a mistake. Wait for mistakes, man, because they don't watch boxing.
Yeah, but again, I think that Mercado could possibly be some good resistance tonight for Floyd Schofield. So we gonna see what he do in that fight tonight.
And that experience matter too, man. Even though he got those 4 losses, man, we don't know exactly what his mental may be. He may be in a space where, you know, he's sick of that shit, man. You know.
Hey, shout out to my man Jamil. YSN, we up in here. What's good, Brody?
Yo.
What's up, Jamil?
Good. Yo, y'all talking about fucking Floyd Schofield like he a bull or something, man.
Like he a what?
Like he's a bull.
No, I mean he okay. I'm just saying it's gonna be a tough fight.
Yeah, he's I feel like people get misconstrued promotion with ability. Like Floyd Schofield is your average young fighter. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not. Wait, my bad. Cook.
No, he talking about Keyshawn. Like, you need to leave that alone. He ain't ready for that.
He not ready. He ain't ready for Keyshawn at all. But that's what I'm saying. This guy Mercado.
I don't think real fast truth. I don't think Keyshawn. I think he's just okay too. I don't think anything special with him either.
Wait.
But go ahead.
Is Keyshawn okay for a prospect or okay for the world level guys that you're comparing him to?
I'm just letting him grow. I don't think he's ready for any top guy. That's my opinion.
But about Floyd Schofield, where do you measure him? Are you measuring him against top guys? Or are you measuring him against other prospects?
I would say they're probably about the same level right now to me.
Hey, whatever you smoking, bro, please pass the link.
Look, hey, listen, Cliff, you got to look at the opponents that like they are.
I am.
Who's that? Is that Cliff?
Yeah, yes. What's up, Jamel? It's me. It's Bass.
Cliff with that bullshit.
It's Bass. It's Bass, man. Nah, man. Look, Keyshawn. You know. Let me put a disclaimer, a quick one out there, man. I don't care nothing about these prospects. Just let me know when they're ready. Like, just let me know when they're ready. Like, Keyshawn to me can't mess with any of those top 135 guys. Not saying he can't beat them in a fight. I'm just saying, judging from what I've seen from him thus far in his career, I don't think he can mess with any of those guys. And it's style matchups. I don't think his style matches up with any of those top guys. I think Frank would beat him. I think Devin Haney would embarrass him. I think, hell, even Tio might do some damage to him. He barely jab. He's just swinging for the fences, man.
Ooh.
I think a top boxer would beat him. That's what I think.
You know what I don't be understanding? Like,
what's that?
When I watch Keyshawn Davis, right? I'm looking at a guy that has great punch placement. He goes to the body. He changes levels. His defense is very good. Like, he's not a guy just going there and getting punched on. Like, he's not just there to be punched on and there to be hit and nothing like that. His amateur background extensive. He's a silver medalist. He's been in the ring with a lot of your favorite fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people just don't like his attitude or maybe don't like the stuff that he say. But again, like, this is a guy that backs it up in the ring. Like, we haven't seen no like subpar performance. Now, granted, he should be performing well against the guys that he's fought. So I'm not saying much when I say we haven't seen those subpar performances. But again, when people say like he's average or I don't see anything, what blocks is he not checking off for you to say that this guy's average? You get what I'm saying?
You remember we had this conversation yesterday though?
We just did. We did on the phone. Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, like, I thought that the person that you named as a potential opponent, I thought it was a really good opponent. You're not putting Kid Austin in there with that kind of opponent. That's how you could tell it's levels. You won't even attempt to put him in there with the guys that you put Keyshawn in there with.
For sure.
Well, just to back Kid Austin up, I mean, he's on a different trajectory. He's on a different promotional company. Those handlers think of him differently than how Top Rank thinks of Keyshawn. Just throwing that out there.
Well, he got a co-promotional deal with Golden Boy, so it's not like he just under Oscar and Oscar controls his career.
Right. But again, though, Troop, I'm just saying, like, whoever he's under, they think differently of him, and they're thinking of other things versus what Top Rank is thinking for Keyshawn. That's why they're
and you should look at that for that they're experts and they know what they're doing. So it's Top Rank, the best movers in boxing is moving Keyshawn at a lightning fast pace, and then Golden Boy is taking Kid Austin really slow. That should give you some sort of pause.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, hang on. Exactly. That you make a good point. That's something I do. That's what I do criticize about him. I think his handlers are just putting him in there with guys who they know he can beat in a certain style that looks good with his. He's fighting guys to me, talking about Keyshawn. He's just fighting guys to me like you said, that is good punch placement. I'm not knocking him. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. I just think he's just okay versus what he's doing and how they're moving him and how they're building him and how they're whether you say fast tracking or not.
So Juan Carlos Burgos is his last opponent, right?
Yeah.
So he had a draw with Angel Fierro, right? He lost to Sterling Castillo, Xavier Martinez, Hector Tanajaro, who was like Golden Boy's guy until he got beat up by William Zepeda, Devin Haney, and Mikey Garcia, bro. Like this, Juan Carlos Burgos is a guy that when you feel like your prospect is on that fringe level, this is the guy you throw in. And oh, by the way, he ain't been stopped by nobody. You get what I'm saying? So to say that they just putting him in with guys that's gonna just allow him to do this is a crafty veteran that I got on the screen right now. You know what I'm saying? Very crafty.
This is the last guy he faced, right? True.
What happened?
This is the last guy he faced, right? That last outing on Theo's card.
On the Theo undercard, yes.
Yeah. See, I watched that. I was
every single
like,
round, every single judge.
And that's fine, but you probably could have done better because if you would have just set your stuff up, just stay swinging at this guy, you could have done that. That's me though.
Listen,
that's me.
This guy is setting punches up. Matter of fact, he's throwing his punches and then going back defensively, anticipating your counter punch so he can counter your counter. This guy is he's an elite level prospect. So out of all of these prospects, he got to be top 2, top 3 out of any prospect in boxing. I mean, you have a top 5 prospect conversation. Again, my question is, if you feel he's average, then enlighten me on what is he doing to make you feel that way. I
just said in his last matchup, he didn't set anything up. He's just swinging. Had he used the jab, came whether he's coming forward or using it for offense or defense. You're gonna set that up. He's using your footwork. To me, he's just swinging, man.
If he taking angles, I wish I could put the highlights up here.
It kind of reminds me a little Terrence Crawford-ish. Not exactly the same, but a little bit of that.
Oh, I see what you
and then a little bit. No, don't, please don't, man. Well, okay, let me say this. No, listen. Nah, man, no, please, Triff, don't put that on me, man. Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me, dog. No, don't put that on me, brother, because I don't. No, hang on, brother. Like, I don't care about all that outside the stuff. I'm just talking about boxing and style matchups. I don't care about their personal issues. I don't care what they think that. You asked me what I think, so I'm telling you.
Well, I understand what you say, Clev. I hope that maybe one day you and I get to rewatch that fight with Keyshawn and that last guy just showed, Juan Carlos Burgo. Keyshawn was taking angles. He was setting his punches up. He was throwing combinations. He was also defensively sound. Because I think when you say a guy just like coming forward or trotting forward or doing whatever, in my opinion, this is a guy playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots, just trying to get a knockout. And again, he didn't do that. I don't know. I mean, again, we just maybe look at the fight a little bit differently, but I think again that Keyshawn is checking off all the blocks now. You know,
highlight that gritty comment for me, please. Thanks.
He said Shushu the best prospect. Hey, Jamil, who do you think the best prospect in boxing is right now?
The funny thing about Shushu, people don't even realize, Shushu's like 25, turning 26. So when you're measuring him against 19 and 20-year-olds, of course Shushu's gonna be better. I mean, he's much more experienced. He's at the level. He's honestly supposed to be where Boots is, and like dudes that was around his age in the amateur, like that's his amateur group. But best prospect.
Well, to be fair, Keyshawn Davis turned 24 next month.
Yeah, no, all of them dudes are around the same to me.
Correct, Gritty. Just to piggyback off what Gritty was saying, I was thinking the same thing as he was talking to YSM. To me, you can't put an age on a prospect. A prospect is a point in your career where you are as a boxer. Age is just your age.
All right, but Blair, I hear what you're saying, but do you remember when Earl was trolling Blair?
Mm-hmm.
What do you call him? A 31 or 32-year-old prospect?
Yeah, right. But
right.
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish. My bad.
All right. So comparing an 18-year-old to a 20-year-old man is like when people compared Vasyl Lomachenko to Floyd Mayweather. It was like, oh, look at Vasyl's first 10 opponents and look at Floyd's first 10 opponents. Two different scenarios. A 25-year-old man, that's when you start to get your man strength. Your brain has a different makeup than an 18-year-old. So it's hard for me to compare a 17-year-old and 18-year-old to a 25-year-old.
But what about the experience in the sport? Not to say about their particular situations, but what about the experience when you got certain people who 18, 19? Let's look at Canelo. Canelo was young, but Canelo had a bag full of experience. You get what I'm saying? So even though when he came in and people was getting hip to him as a prospect, it's a little different because he was a prospect in the pro world, but in the amateur world, he was doing his thing. Same thing with Lomachenko,
Yeah, but you're talking about the difference between so you're talking about fighting in Mexican ballrooms and then fighting against the best fighters in the world that haven't turned pro yet. It's a little bit of different caliber. Like the dudes that Lomachenko is going up against, majority of them went on to be world champions. The one that turned pro, they're not just some guy. So that's why it's a little shaky for me saying Shushu, because of Shushu's age and experience. His amateur background is extensive. So me comparing him to a 17 or 18-year-old just because they got around the same fights is that's all I'm saying.
But who is this? But who is 17, 18 as a prospect right now that we would even compare? I mean, besides like an Abdullah Mason, but he's still not ready yet. Like he's just 3 fights in. So you got to remove a guy like
he's still wet behind the ears.
All right, so you got dudes like no, you said prospect, so I got to look at literally everybody. I got to think about everybody. I got to think about.
So let's do this, Jamil. Give me your top 3. Give me the top 3 prospects that you like right now.
Okay. I like Big Baby.
Big Baby. Okay. That's one of mine too.
I like Big Baby. I like Xander, but I'm not sure if I'll put Xander in my top 3.
Can't fuck with
I
Xander,
like
bro.
Shushu. Huh?
No, go ahead.
I like Shushu. I like Tiger. I'm torn, bro. I could throw a lot of these dudes in a bowl and just say pick one.
Nah, for sure.
Y'all ready for my 3 is Shushu, Tiger, Keyshawn.
I like that. What about you, Claire? For your top 3?
Don't have top 3. I don't really care for him that much. The only one I really like is Tiger. I like Tiger a lot. He shows a lot of promise.
And apparently it's Floyd Schofield. I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, just Tiger. I mean, everyone. I mean, they're all good, man. They're growing, man. But like, I don't think. I don't think they're I'm not crazy hypey behind them. I'm just like whatever.
Before we get to Broadway's prospect, I gotta ask: is he Dominican?
No, he's Mexican.
Okay, well then it's valid coming from Broad. We definitely gotta check him out.
And his next fight is Gerald. He fight in a couple weeks. I think matter of fact, no, he fight on the Jose Ramirez co-main undercard. He fight in Nakathila next. He fight for Maya Nakathila. So this is his step up fight. Wait.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, no.
What's the criteria on a prospect?
Say it again.
I said, what's the criteria on a prospect?
I just put that up too.
Before you go, I'm sorry, Cal.
Hold on. I'm just about to pull this up because I had just pulled that up and it was a stern definition. I'm gonna read it out. It ain't gonna take me to.
Keyshawn might not be a prospect because he ranked number 11 in the WBL. So is he still a prospect?
No, he's still a prospect. But
Murataya about to fight Nakathila, who fought Shakur for a title.
Right.
Is he still a prospect? He might be a contender. And I think Murataya got like 18 fights. Like I think
I feel like as fans sometimes we make a jump. We jump from prospect to world champion, but we got to remember there's contender level. Yeah, like once you start fighting 10 rounders, you start competing like USBAs or WBO interims. You're not really a prospect anymore. You're a contender.
Okay, but this the thing. Just because you a prospect and you end up let's say you end up in a fight for an interim or eliminator or something like that, right? That don't mean that you still didn't go from prospect to what we want to say. What's after? What will be after a contender?
World champion.
But a world champion, right? Okay. Well, then let's say they go from prospect to world champion. It's nothing wrong with skipping if they skip contender. Just
you can't. But what I'm saying is you can't skip contender. It's like so let's look at Shakur Stevenson. What did Shakur Stevenson fight in before he fought Joet Gonzalez? Then he fought was that Rios? Or Christopher Diaz? Is that Patufo?
Let me see. I'm about to see right now.
So if that's the case, our question need to be, what type of opponent turns you into a contender? Well, is the step up from prospect to contender?
But that's what I asked. What does he consider a prospect? Like, what's the definition?
The definition of prospect is a young and up and coming dude who still is a work in progress and largely untested, but already looking promising. That's the definition of a prospect.
Yeah, Christopher Diaz was before, and Guevara was before, and then he fought Joet for the belt.
And I forgot to mention him too, but that's definitely my honorable mention, man. Ashton Silva, the kid who
was that a 10-rounder?
Which one?
Against Patufo.
That was a 10-rounder, yeah.
Yeah, well then right then I consider him a contender.
I mean, but he fought 2 10-rounders before that.
Yeah, I consider him a contender, but a lot of times because he's young, we're like, oh, prospect. Like if you sitting there, you fighting 10-round fights for like USBAs, WBO, Latino, you know what I'm saying? Now you're on world level.
Yeah.
You just ain't fought for a title yet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like even this fight against Christopher Diaz, it was for the WBO NABO featherweight. You know what I mean? The NABO championship. So if you win it, you right. Yeah. I mean, if you win an NABO belts, you can't be a prospect. And again, Keyshawn next fight is going to be, and I think he got one of them little WBO mid Reggie belts. You know what I mean? So,
I'm sitting here thinking about it, and to me, yeah, they're all prospects until they contend and then get necessary experience, and then of course vie for a world title and or fight for a world title. But then I'm also sitting here thinking, as you guys are talking, I agree with all that too. But you know something? I lied to you, truth earlier. Like, so yeah, I like Tiger a lot. I like Diego Pacheco a lot. I like his style a lot. I even like Raya. I like that little Benavidez camp that they got going. I like guys like that. Close distance, just styles. Shit, there's a lot of good talent, man. I like that Ramos kid, who's really good, who's really young.
Jesus?
Yeah, he like 20. He like 20. So like, yeah, like him. See, in my head, a style matchup. See, I think he'd beat the crap out of Keyshawn.
But he 154 pounder, bro.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, he was fighting 147 for a long time. You're right.
Yeah. Wait. I got a question for y'all. Is Frank a prospect?
No.
Exactly.
He the number one. He's the mandatory for the he a contender. You know what I mean?
He's a contender, right?
Yeah.
So just because he didn't fight for a world title, don't mean like, you know, he's a prospect anymore. I feel like he reached contender level.
Yeah, Conwell, because somebody says Conwell past prospect. Conwell is ranked literally in every single sanctioning body, bro. So So basically, he's definitely not a contender. He's not a prospect.
So basically, it's dependent on the rankings, what y'all saying, right?
Well, for me, it depends on it go by the fighter. For example, I would still say Keyshawn is a prospect, but truthfully, he's ranked number 11 from the WBO, and he has a little belt, and his next fight is a 10-rounder. You know what I mean? So after that next fight, if he win it, now if you fighting 10 rounders, how can I compare you to a guy that's fighting 4 or 6 rounders? Like, for example, you can't compare him to Abdullah Mason after his next fight. They're not in the same category no more. You know what I'm saying? But either way, maybe I just switch it from prospect to up and coming fighter. You know what I mean? That way it leave it a little bit more broad, and then we don't gotta really have a definite answer or a definite definition. You know what I mean?
Man, this conversation almost throw me into clever boat on this one. Like, man, look, man, fuck all that. Just holler at me when everybody ready, man. Because at the end of the day, we are professionals here. We are professionals. We all could be put in the ring amongst each other, man. So I mean, it is what it is, man. Because I mean, it's nothing. This conversation we can have all day because it's so many different ways to look at it. So many I mean, everybody criteria is a little different, so we can have this conversation all day, man. It's about who ready for who, and man, let's get it popping.
Nicely put, Kyle.
Overton. Overton that fought last week on the Showbox card. That he's another one. I like him as well. Like Broadway said, another one, Raymond Ford. I like him as well. And I heard he got a good fight coming up next too. You know what I'm saying? So So
because at the end of the day, who's to say exactly who is the person that's making these calls on if a person even been tested or not? You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes we got I'll use Frank Martin for instance. I seen Gritty put it up, right? Because what made Frank Martin, excuse me, I'm babysitting. But what made Frank Martin go from elite prospect to contender would be what? A win over another prospect?
Well,
you get what I'm saying? So it's like it's not like he beat a contender or a challenger or whatever we want to name it. You understand what I'm saying?
Rivera was like 24-0, bro. Like he had like if I'm not mistaken, he had like 24 fights. So I don't think it was just like, you know what I mean? I don't think Michelle was no prospect. Personally, I don't think he was a prospect. I think he was a contender. And remember, Michelle was number 1 in the WBA. You know what I'm saying? Like he beat other ranked guys.
Okay. See, I in my eyes, Rivera was maybe he was a unknown contender for me, which is why I had him.
he has been on TV his last 6 fights have been on TV before. Yeah, I mean, well, but again, maybe you might not have rated him that high, but the WBA did. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but skill wise, I didn't have them set that far apart because let's go back to Clev. I didn't see it as prospect versus contender or any of that. I saw it as skill against skill, and I had it a 50-50 fight.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's all good.
No.
No.
I'm talking to the baby.
Oh, what you think about that picture with Terrence Crawford up in top in Golden Boy office, and Oscar said that they're working on something big. How you feel about that?
1 second, y'all. 1 second.
Man, I don't care. I don't care at all, man. Terrence Crawford and them don't do nothing. They don't fight anyone I want him to fight. So like, I'm cool. I'm cool with him. Same thing with Golden Boy. Like they don't do any big fights, bro. This fight with Virgil Ortiz and Stanios is gonna be awesome. I think that's gonna be tight. I'm trying to see if I can make it, but I ain't gonna lie to you again. I'm waiting on see what Big Fish gonna do. I really want to be in the building for his next fight, and I'm hearing so many different dates. So once I get some concrete, I'll be able to make a better decision. But man, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care about what Terrence doing, man. Nothing personal. He ain't doing nothing. He's not doing anything that the fans want him to do, and that's a shame.
I'm gonna tell you, there's another up and coming fighter that I'm a real big fan of. Is a guy that fight at 118. His name is Michael Angeletti. That guy, man, I really like him. Him, Trayvon Marshall was another guy. So with that conversation, like YSM said, at what point, right? Well, Trayvon Marshall next fight is against Justin DeLoach, right? So Trayvon Marshall, I think he like 7-0, 6-0, 7-0. His next fight is against a 19-5 guy or something like that. I think he like 19-3 or like 19-5 or one of the, you know what I mean? So that's to me, that's a step up for a prospect. And after he wins that fight, that makes you a legit contender. Even if you 8-0, beating a guy at that level, I think you're not a prospect no more because you beating guys that's fighting that fought the Nate Gallimores and fought Fondoras and did those things like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think I can't be calling you a prospect when you beating guys that's fought on the world level already.
Jaleel Hackett, I like him too, man. He probably not my top. I think once those guys who I already got as my top prospects move up to the contender rankings, man, I think I'll move Jaleel right in.
And but not fighting on TV either.
Yeah, but one person who is a high prospect in a lot of y'all rankings I see who I definitely don't agree with is Big Baby, bro.
You don't like Big Baby?
I think we had this conversation about a week or two ago on one of your other talks, but yeah, I'm just not high on Big Baby, bro.
Is it because he hit or like what is the defense?
I can't really put a finger on it. It's just it's the it factor, bro. It's not there for me.
You know what I'm gonna tell you what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is, Kyle. I think that a lot of these guys, especially in sparring and even fights, like you got some guys that's exceptional, right? Mm-hmm. And I think like the problem with a guy like Big Baby is that besides actual training, he don't got to work on his transitions. Like he don't got to work. Like for example, I was doing mitts with my kids today, so we do like 1, 2, 3, block to the face, okay, 3, 2, block to the body, 2, 3. You feel me? Pivot out. So it's like with mixing your offense and going back to defense is something that a guy like Big Baby don't got to worry about because he's so big, he's so strong, and he hurting motherfuckers. But then when you get in the ring with another guy and you used to throwing 3-4 punch combinations because motherfuckers can't take you, like you're not even used to real punches coming back at you because the guys you sparring, you just levels above. The guys you fought in the amateurs, you just levels above. So when you get in the ring and you wailing off, right? And that's the question I asked Benavidez. I said, do you think with a guy like Caleb Plant that you have to go from maybe not a 4 or 5 punch combination, maybe down to 1, 2, so you're not getting caught in between? You know what I'm saying? And I think with him, as he started to kind of transition and become less anxious when he got his opponent hurt, I think that we'll start seeing better performances from Jared Anderson because, again, I just think he just levels above these guys that he fighting. Said, man, Moritai gonna make a statement with this Nakathilia, but it won't matter much. I can see Top Rank eventually matching him up with Jermaine Ortiz, like Robert Garcia said they wanted to do before the Loma fight. I don't think Jermaine Ortiz is going to be at 135 no more. He looked real bad in the Loma fight, so I hope he is able to move up after he fought Loma well, after he beat what's my name, Jamel Herring and all of that. I think he deserved a fight at the weight class that he would probably look better in 140. Linear Perot, a young Cuban heavyweight, that would give Anderson problems. I believe he would. He's actually trained by Bob Santos right now. Bob is on fire. You know what I mean? Obviously, we already kind of know what Bob been doing over the last year or so. And also, you know, he got actually, even when you talk about what's my man that Tank knocked out, the tall dude at 140, Barrios, right? Barrios was a Bob Santos guy, and he was undefeated, and he didn't lose until he left Bob Santos and went over with Virgil Hunter. Then he started losing. You get what I'm saying? Now, granted, after the Virgil Hunter, it was a Tank fight, and it was Keith. So, you know, you might got to put that in a. I mean, that's another conversation as well. But yeah, Linear Perot rocking with Bob Santos, I like that too.
Yeah, truth you said his name, David Benavidez, man. He's definitely becoming one of he's sneaking in that Errol realm with me, becoming my favorite fighter. He's the real deal, man. He's the sky's the limit for him. Like guys like him and Devin Haney, like those guys, like they want to be the best. They want to fight everybody. They want to fight everybody.
So I'm gonna pause you, right? So now I'm about to interview you because now you make right now because I'm listening to you, right? And okay, let me just ask you this. Okay, does David Benavidez have holes in his game?
Oh yes, they all do. Everyone's flawed, man. No one's perfect.
So what's a flaw you think that David Benavidez got? Just asking.
You pinpoint something. Like I think he could. It's very technical with him because like I don't. This is me, right? This is me. This is me. What I think of him. Like I don't like when he takes unnecessary shots. I like guys to work smarter, not harder. Like I said with that Anthony Yarde fight today, I think something could else have happened had he not stood there and just got beat on. So coming back to Benavidez, I don't want him to get too overzealous or to get too many butterflies in there and you use that where you just use over anxious and get caught with something because he does get caught like that. He just fights through because the level of his competition can't really withstand with him.
Let me jump in with you, right? Because I'm really talking to you now, right? So yeah, I like what you said about getting hit, but right, statistically, David Benavidez is landing at about 50% of his punches, and statistically, nobody at 168 gets hit less than David Benavidez. So I hear what you're saying, but the statistics say that David Benavidez has the best defense at 168.
Well, I'm going to sound pretty hypocritical here too. Yeah, that's right. You know, I mean, that's not to say that at least that everyone's getting hit in there no matter what. But yeah, he's got a high case in not doing that. And that's why, because I think it's what I always used to say this in some previous streams and other conversations with David at different times. I think it's what he's doing to his opponent that's giving success and given to what they're trying to do to him. His footwork is actually damn good, man. His aggressiveness is what helps them. I'm sorry?
You said who footwork good?
I'm talking about David Benavidez.
Bro, that's probably like the worst thing about his boxing is his footwork.
Nah. Let me explain. Let me explain though. See, you guys are right because obviously he's a big guy and he's got a lot of weight to be transitioning. But it's what he's doing again to get in position to tee off or offense or even defense, right? I know a lot of it is genuine size. Of course, he's using that advantage, but you also got to think his pedigree, his styling, what he's trying to do in there. You heard in your very interview, it shocked me to know, and I should know this because I've been following this guy pretty much his whole career. That's right. He used to train with Triple G, guys like that. And there's another big name that he mentioned in there, like Usyk. Yeah, he gets inspired by Usyk and those are big guys moving in the ring pretty well. Yes, their footwork is maybe not be as fast as their opponent, but again, it's what they're doing to get in position and to capitalize on things. He's very aggressive, man.
I don't think
Very
it's
aggressive.
slow. I just think at points during the fight it gets sloppy. I think like when he got his opponent on a rope specifically, he squares up. And truthfully, that's the thing that makes me nervous about this fight. I don't think Benavidez got gas problems. I think Benavidez got decent pop. I don't think he's the strongest guy at 47. I think he's very aggressive and he got decent pop. But what scares me is that he squares up. And with a guy like Caleb Plant with excellent footwork, and that's a great counter puncher, and that's very accurate with the way he throws his punches, that's what makes me nervous about David Benavidez. It just kind of threw me off when you said that, because a guy like Errol Spence, you're talking about a guy that's probably one of the most technically sound fighters in the world. And so for you to put Benavidez, who's he's a good fighter, no question, right? But again, for you to say Benavidez is moving into that category, that's what it to me, that was just like a little that's why I said
but why though? Because he truly wants to be the best and wants to fight anybody and doesn't duck anybody. He wants to fight everybody. No, hang on. But you asked me, that's my reasoning. He's becoming one of my favorite fighters. I didn't say he's everyone else's favorite fighter. He's getting into that realm because I think he's the real deal. Him and Haney are sneaking in there. Haney, I was never really truly that big on Haney. Like I like Haney, don't get it twisted, but like it's his actions are proving me just and really impressing me, man. Because Haney, to me right now at 24 years old, has got it figured out, man. Got the game figured out from inside the ring to outside the ring. Got the game figured out at a young age, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, man, that's gonna be a good fight. Coming back to Benavidez and Caleb, I'm not mad at anyone, whoever chooses what they do or what they think or their opinion. It's actually a close fight, but and I could see Caleb knocking David down, catching him with something. Like I said, him getting over anxious or zealous in there and getting caught, and then he gonna get up and have to do some Andre Ward shit and put a masterpiece on. Ultimately, maybe stop that guy. So. That's one for the year, man, for the first quarter that we all get to enjoy. That's gonna be some good shit. That's gonna be mayhem.
Yeah, so Anderson keeps his head on the line way too much right now, and he tends to be off balance and lean over his punches. Got to clean that up at the next level. Rito, you're right, Rito. But again, some guys could get away, just like David Benavidez. David Benavidez, the thing that with even with his glaring footwork being a weakness, the thing that get him over the hump is number one, that gas tank, and number two, his output per round. You get what I'm saying? So you can make mistakes, but it's like by the time your opponent realize that you're making a mistake, motherfucker just trying to catch a breath. You get what I'm saying? Another perfect example, Jermaine Ortiz, right? Jermaine Ortiz was so tired in that Lomachenko fight that in that 8th round, I think it was, when he really hurt Loma to the body, he couldn't do nothing. Like, he hurt Loma to the body. Loma went all the way to the other side of the ring. But by that time, Jermaine Ortiz was trying to catch his breath. He couldn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, whether it's the level of competition or whether it's your Errol Spence is another guy. I think Errol has glaring weaknesses in his fight. And I think he's very repetitive the way he boxes, right? Sometimes when he's throwing his rear hand, he'll get out of place, like he'll be off balance. But Errol Spence is so active and he throws so many punches and he's right on you so much that a lot of times when you even realize that he's making a mistake, bro, you trying to just catch your breath. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree. And that's kind of coming back to me where I say, look, everyone is flawed, man. There's no one who's perfect and does it all the way right. There's some guys who are pretty dang close. And that's because they're so fundamentally strong in what they do and present. But let me give this to you two gentlemen here. And this is why we were kind of sparring there with the footwork. Look, man, I think we all get kind of how should I say, like we can misunderstand the footwork. To me, footwork is everything in boxing.
Yeah.
Prime example, like we were saying earlier with Yarde and Beterbiev, I gave that example of the triangle he was mixing up. Those are boxing skills. So what is that? Footwork. Got to know how to navigate that ring, offense, defense, your ring IQ, which is intelligence, and then of course toughness to get through and just know what you're doing. Another example would be with the Eubank and Smith. His footwork is off. He didn't know what to do or how to really get out of that situation.
Well, and he was trying to be Roy Jones, and I don't think anybody can be Roy Jones. And I think that's kind of the problem.
Again, but again, this is what I really want you to hear, though. It's what I really want your truth. You have to be strong and fundamentally sound in what you do in that strength of yours. But ultimately, it's going to come down to your footwork, your foot placement on what you're doing. Now, coming to Benavidez, see, I think he's strong in his footwork. That's why I say he's got good footwork. He knows how to control it, which allows him to get in position and do what he does best and stop his competition. Just because he's not light on his feet and like Muhammad Ali and all that kind of good stuff doesn't mean he doesn't have good footwork. And that's what I think us fans get tied into.
Well, I think that his footwork is sloppy. So I think, like, you get what I'm saying? I just think that the level of competition that he's been fighting has been allowing him to continue on having sloppy footwork because of the level of guys that he's fighting. But again, we'll see March 25th when the guy with the best footwork that he's ever fought will step in the ring with him. I'm not saying that Caleb Plant wins that fight. Truthfully, I think that I'm leaning more towards Benavidez. I think it's going to be a great fight. But again, what I see as a weakness in his footwork will definitely be on full display March 25th, for sure.
And you know what I say to that? Your cornermen are gonna have to make the necessary adjustments, and all eyes are gonna have to be really locked in. They gotta be prepared for that. And again, this is why I use Devin Haney for example. He knows what to do at probably 98% of the time. He knows what to do, man. And that's coming back to being whether he's on the ropes, whether he's in the center of the ring. You gotta be able to, that's your IQ. That's the gentleman's IQ. You gotta know what the heck you're doing there, man. And especially when you're in trouble. A lot of guys don't know what to do when they're in trouble.
Hey, somebody's got a knockout on that DAZN card too. This I don't even know who that was. I think this let me see. Is this Collazo?
I didn't know it was on yet.
Yeah, it's on right now. That Collazo, he definitely just knocked this dude out for sure. But nah, man. Yeah, man. You know what? That was a good little, nice little talk after this joint. I might mess around and go live after this card, and just depending on what happens. Matter of fact, I am gonna go live tonight. Wife here. It's just me and the kiddies, man. I think I might go live against somebody. He's still on the ground. Yeah, I'm for sure gonna go live after this. But hey, man, I appreciate y'all joining me, man. You know what I mean? We're gonna shut it down for a little bit, watch a couple of these fights, and then probably get on Twitter, see what they talking about, and I'm gonna pop back on live after these fights is over, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Be well.
Yo.
Appreciate it.